Lucas Pope is the independent game developer behind Papers, Please and Return of the Obra Dinn. He currently lives in Saitama, Japan with his wife, Keiko Ishizaka, and his two children. Pope got his start making mods and skins for Quake, with his first launch title being Malice, a total conversion mod released by Ratloop in 1997. In 2007, Pope began working at Naughty Dog as a tools developer for the first Uncharted game. He's described as a lifesaver, as the studio was mainly using console-based development tools at the time. He developed 4 complete toolkits, including one for mapping levels, creating the game's menus, managing the save system, and language localization. One of the most important lessons he learned that he frequently recalls is the ability to let go of content that wasn't going to fit the vision of the game. He was astounded at the caliber of content cut for Uncharted, but learned so much from seeing how much wasn't used. Ultimately, the cuts made the game better and more precise in achieving its goals. Shortly before leaving Naughty Dog, Pope and his wife developed the demo of Mightier over the course of a 2 week vacation. It's a kind of draw your own platformer that can even use your webcam and printer to let you complete the game with a pen and paper. It wasn't a smash hit, but inspired Pope and his wife to pursue independent game development further. In November of 2012, Pope started working on Papers, Please, a game where the player assumes the role of a border guard in the totalitarian state of Arstatska. The player must cross-reference a huge set of documents, check for inconsistencies, and face many moral dilemmas, all while keeping their family at home financially supported. Pope focused on developing strong UI elements and crafting the player's tools using his experience as a tools designer. Except here, the UI is intentionally clunky, busy, and bureaucratic, sort of the opposite of what you would want in a production tool suite. He used the pure code environment of Hacks and OpenFL to make the game. Papers, Please was the first time Lucas posted a devlog. He posted updates on TigSource, where he showed off new features and got a lot of feedback during the development process. Harking back to his time at Naughty Dog, he even posted a collection of the cut content that he removed to make the game more focused, including the ability to sell naked photos of travelers for extra money. Papers, Please was a Steam Greenlight success story. It went on to be the smash hit game of 2013 and 14, winning the 2013 BAFTA Strategy and Simulation Award and the Independent Game Festival's Seamus McNally Grand Prize for 2014. Despite this success, Lucas Pope has explicitly expressed his disinterest in any kind of sequel or return to the universe. This is very indicative of Pope's philosophy when making games, which is to deeply explore a specific mechanic or concept and not stretch far beyond that. Papers, Please was first and foremost a game about crossing the border and cross-referencing documents. He scrapped many ideas that distracted from that, including a luggage searching mechanic and higher tech scanners. When I played Papers, Please, I absolutely loved it. Shuffling through papers, cross-referencing information, stamping visas, it's such a satisfying game to play. And over time, you certainly get into the zone of working towards your very specific task while following very specific rules. In 2014, shortly after the release of Papers, Please, Pope posted the concept for his next game on TigSource, Return of the Obra Dinn. Inspired by the graphics of the small documents in Papers, Please, he wanted to depart from a mechanically complex game and focus on narrative and 1-bit rendering techniques, making many logs and updates detailing the development process of the game. Return of the Obra Dinn marked a departure from hacks, and Pope moved to Unity. He says as a tools developer, he adores the huge collection of tools that Unity offers, and the ability to make content so quickly. He actually made the GIF you see here in one day, which gave him the very generous expectation that he would finish the game in about 6 months. In Return of the Obra Dinn, players assume the role of an insurance inspector for the East India Company, trying to find the identity, fate, killer, and weapon used for all 60 of the sailors on board. You do this through flashbacks of the character's death when examining their corpse. The crew is highly diverse, which was really important to Pope. At many points of development, Lucas bit off more than he wanted to chew. He expected to complete the game in 6 months, but it ended up taking him 4.5 years to fully develop. It's important to note that Pope did everything for this game and Papers, Please all himself, including the art, music, graphics, gameplay, and the composition of it all together. The dithering and pixel effects were some of the biggest obstacles for Pope. Even though he got 1-bit rendering working day one, the actual complexities of making legible and clean graphics was a huge time sink. What you see here isn't even half of the complete post, which extensively details his struggles and really creative solutions to dithering. The story is incredibly complex, both implementation wise and narratively. This game was all about the narrative, but weaving together stories of 60 characters in ways that were digestible and understandable only through tiny stills of their death was extremely difficult. Pope detailed a tool he developed just to plan the narrative and find and fill plot holes. In doing research for the game world, Pope fell in love with survival on the sea. He notes that the only way someone can survive is by working together with the crew. There's no escape. He felt that life at sea erased the typical barriers between people, like race, religion, and status. This concept is something he played with a lot during development. It's important to note that almost the entirety of the gameplay in both Return of the Obra Dinn and Papers, Please centers around interacting with people. Pope's games really explore human interaction as the primary gameplay component. Even when procedurally generated, Pope gives his characters such a strong sense of identity and realism in believable and realistic worlds. So I played this game, and its storytelling, voice acting, music, and graphical uniqueness really plant you in the world of the Obra Dinn. Deaths are brutal and visceral, and the small segments you get to see make the characters feel so unique and real. It's one of the coolest games I've ever played, and one that I really hope I can finish. As far as I can tell, Pope hasn't announced anything regarding his future work. He has promised that his next game is going to be small, and that it's not going to come for a while, as he really wants to spend more time with his wife and kids. Following his game design philosophy, I expect a very unique, highly personal, and extremely focused game with an excellent world. Thank you.